right, guys, welcome to another one-on-one session with the Elegbete One of Sports. For most of you who's been engaging, liking, commenting, we want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And we are here.
Thank you.
We are
God
here
bless
for
you.
another round
Even
of.
those of you sending their text, thank you.
We are here for another round of conversations, and we hope you've enjoyed it so far. This time, let's start with some managerial appointments that has happened in the past few days.
Don't ask me anything about Tottenham Hotspur.
No, I and I want to ask you about Tottenham Hotspur. You go talk about that. So it's a two managerial appointments in one. We know Ange has been relieved of his duties with Spurs.
On
the day he was relieved, the female team too was they sacked their manager as well. Now Thomas Frank is the replacement brought in from Brentford, and he'll be the manager of Tottenham. Champions League football, Thomas Frank has not had it before in his managerial career. And how will he fare with Spurs? And also Gennaro Gattuso is the new manager who will be the new manager of the Italian national team. Spalletti has been also relieved of his duties. So combining these two in one, what would you make of these managerial appointments?
Well, for Spurs, because of my love for Arsenal, my hate, that's the only club I'm allowed to hate or dislike. For Spurs, I might not be objective here. But I remember saying before the Europa Cup finals that if there's one man who does not want Spurs to win this trophy, it is Daniel Levy. Issuing those checks for the bonuses of winning that trophy would hit them very hard because it's not something they are used to. They like the toga of being the best financially run football club in terms of profit making. And that final win, that Europa Cup win, set them back a lot, and probably that's why they sacking. That's the joke making the round. But let's talk about football. To finish the season 17 for a club that has spent that much money to build a 62,000 plus capacity stadium and investing in the squad the way they did, some people say sacking Ange Postecoglou is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a statement that glossing over cracks does not work here. Even though we've not been successful, the Premier League is still the biggest. Going up the ladder in the Premier League. Arsenal did not win anything last season, but just finishing semi-finals in the Champions League, not doing anything in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, getting second in the Premier League makes them one of the highest earning team across the whole of Europe. So you have to look at that and say, I always tell people that if you sit in the fan side of town, you just want excitement and orgasm. If you sit in the players and coaches side of town, you just want trophy. But if you sit in the business suits, the executive side of town, and you're the one buying players, you're paying the bonuses, paying the salaries and the bills, you want good success. And it's beyond just winning the UEFA Europa Cup or playing in the finals of the Carabao Cup. You want, if Spurs constantly make the top 4 in the Premier League for the next 10 years, they keep their earnings going. I think they make about 6 or 7 million pounds. I don't know the exact number. For somebody to watch it and say I don't know what I'm saying, they would, but it's within that range because Arsenal make about close to 6 million as well. They would be a lot more successful than some clubs who win the Europa Cup back to back anywhere across Europe. So for me, that decision was good. But then the replacement is strange because if you go back now on Hindsight, there is a podcast hosted by my friend UB called Hindsight. I love that name. Because when I was growing up in this industry, the late Deji Tinubu always say that on hindsight everybody have 2020 vision. So on hindsight, looking at Ange Postecoglou when he said I always win in my second season, you would say for that he lived up to his word, he kept his word, he lived up to his promise. But sometimes your promise might not be the standard that is expected. So if I ask you to go and buy me a watermelon and you buy me a big guava, it is still not a watermelon. That's just an example. So it's good. But bringing in this Brentford coach, it's like when Arsenal sacked George Graham and brought in Bruce Roach from Bolton Wanderers. It's like when Manchester United, when Sir Alex Ferguson left and out of nepotism they brought in David Moyes. Those are two good coaches in their level. But, to life, there are levels to this thing. That's why a player can leave Liverpool and go to Madrid and be fluent in Spanish. No pun intended. I'm just stating the obvious. Now, when you look at this is Daniel Frank is coming to a club where they expect them to play in the Champions League. He's been coaching in a place where they don't make the Champions League, but is praised as someone who's done great. And the 10 million that they paid for him also will not put pressure on him. He must perform. He must get into the top 4. He must play, also do well in the Champions League. This is a team that went to the finals of the UEFA Europa Cup. So this time around, he must get, some progress. Nobody's going to expect shitty Spurs to go win the Champions League or win the Premier League next season. Man City will be better next season. Liverpool are buying. They will be better, but it could also be a problem because the team will need to gel. Arsenal could be better. Better means that they get past second position or probably do well in the cup competition. I am, putting an outsider's chance that Man United will be better as well. So the competition will be tougher, be harder, and then the other extras like the Newcastles of this world, the Aston Villas of this world, the Brighton, and then the other guys, the Wolves, could also be the stumbling blocks that would fight against them. I'm not expecting them to do well, but then when you look at the pack of coaches that are available, you want a coach that knows the Premier League. You want a coach that would easily settle in. You want a coach that, when he comes in, he would also look back and say, okay, he's worked with some very tough kind of players. I think they went for the right choice, but I'm not expecting them to win anything going forward, Frank.
Then for the Italian national team, Gattuso, is he an option you saw coming?
I didn't see that coming because every other job he's taken, his coach at Napoli was doing well, but his clashes with Aurelio De Laurentiis made sure that they didn't give him the chance to continue. Having said that, with the national team, I think the Italian national team, the biggest problem that they have is they are stuck in their old ways. Times have evolved in football.
Is that where it went wrong for Spalletti?
Yes, that's where it went wrong for Spalletti and the coach before him, Mancini. Italians, if you notice, since you were born and you started following football, you will notice that Italians don't play all the schoolboy international like you have a Lamine Yamal. The last person who was very young that played for Italian national team was Roberto Baggio. They hardly do it. When you're young, they say, no, let him mature first, let him have experience. Italians are always banking on experience, but unfortunately, the game is moving faster these days. That experience is not just the only thing you need. You need this quick feed. This back in my day, for instance, 10, 20 years ago, peak of your career is from 27 to 30, that 3 years window, or if you extend it, say you're extra talented, from 25 to 30, 32 is the peak of your career. Today, the peak of your career starts from 20 to 27. That's the peak. That's where every expectation on you comes to bear, where you perform. Anything outside that is retirement football. So the times have changed, but the Italians have not changed with it. And Gattuso is a bit volatile. It's a very volatile kind of human being. He's a good player, he's a good human being, but he's so passionate that in today's world, truth is an endangered species. Honesty is an endangered. It's what affected Sandro Lise coaching the national team. Everything he said was true. Everything he was demanding was the right thing. But unfortunately, we have a system that says those kind of things will not work. They will sabotage you. So it's not going to suffer because of lack of tactics. It's going to suffer from one, sabotage, and the refusal of the Italian football system, the oligarch or the mafia that's running the football, to allow young players to come into the rank. And it's also discouraging the growth of young Italian talent now, because you know that, you can't play for the national team if you're not 25, 26, 27 or 24. So if you're 16 and you're doing like what Lamine Yamal is doing, they're looking at you like, you're never rich. You're supposed to be selling pizza and tomatoes in your mother's kitchen. But seeing him coming to become the coach of the Italian national team, I didn't see that coming. And I wonder if the Italian national team is not on the verge of missing out on 3 consecutive World Cups. They missed out 2 already, and they're on course to missing the 3rd one.
So wish him all the best, and hopefully that one comes through for the whole of the Italian people and their football in general.